I created a fourth grade lesson plan for students in my computer class. It took 4 days, an hour each day. They had just finished studying the solar system, so it includes science standards. The activity was for them to review a coding activity online. There were 2 coding activities to choose from. They worked with a partner, so each partner chose one. They are available at tinker.com. One's called the solar system. They create their own solar system. They put the planets around the sun and make them rotate and revolve or orbit. And then the other one is called Lost in Space. This is a simpler activity for them, where they have a child astronaut move an amount of steps to an object to retrieve by using Blockly code. I created a hyperdoc for them to complete this entire assignment on. So I started by activating prior knowledge by showing them a YouTube video that was a book review. Then I made a screencast where I taught them what it means to review something and what should be included in a video game or online computer activity review. Next, we watched a video game review about Minecraft, and then we went to Padlet, and students included an idea of what was important to include in a video game review so that I could see what information they had gained and what I might need to talk about a little further. Then I showed them how to create a screenshot. This is another screencast that I made. So they were to use screenshots and their final products, showing what they had done with the coding activities. They used their snipping tool from their desktop, but I also talked about Jing in case they wanted to use that at home. And we reviewed how to copy and paste very quickly. And then I provided the links. Finally, to evaluate their work, I provided a checklist to be sure they had included everything they needed. There are 2 kinds of rubrics, one for a slideshow and report, and one for the screencast. I was amazed that no one chose to do a screencast. I really thought that they wanted to based on the looks on some of their faces. And then finally, I gave some exemplars that I had found online of what people had included in for elementary school students, what they had written about video game reviews. I gave my students a template for a report. I also gave them a template for their, if they chose to do a slideshow. And each template had prompts to help scaffold their responses. And certain students in my class have difficulties with writing and reading, so I purposely assigned certain partners to have someone who could help them with reading as necessary. And if this had been later in the year, they would have used the share feature and they would have collaborated within their document. My class is not quite ready for that yet. We'll cover that in the next 9 weeks. So you could modify it by doing it that way, but I just had students sit next to each other so they could provide help during coding, help during reading and writing, and to see each other's activity that they were working on and see what they thought of it. Then I also gave them one about what not to do. In this instance was a PowerPoint where a student just simply answered the prompts and didn't give very much information. So we talked about what made good work and what was not so good. Students completed a survey at the end to tell me their thoughts about the checklists and rubrics, the difficulty level of the project and how interesting it was. I wanted to know what they enjoyed and why, what was difficult and why, and I asked them for their feedback about how to improve this project for other students. I was teaching to a difficult audience who often says that everything is boring. So, but mostly we had a good time with this and they seemed to enjoy it. Finally, this would be good for if you're going to do coding. There's plenty more activities. So after they've done this once, they could possibly create several online versions of reviews for coding games to get students interested in coding and to go have a source at the school website to go to for something that they would like to do. one thing that we had some difficulty with as far as troubleshooting was that my virtual machines at my school could not record with sound. So we worked on that quite a bit. They're still working on it. They've gotten it to where it will record. However, the volume is not very loud right now. So I was saved by the fact that no one chose to make a screencast anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you might include it in your class. Some of the Iste standards that it includes are creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making.